Section 5, Introduction to Supply and Demand. This is the part that a lot of people have been waiting for. This is where the money is at. This is where you're going to develop a strategy. Like, this is a strategy, but you're going to develop it yourself, because I know supply and demand, right? You're going to learn it, but even at first, you may not be finding the best opportunities in the market. It may not, like what you're looking at may not be that. So you have to develop your knowledge of the strategy, your experience. You have to be exposed to it enough to understand it to that deep level. But that's okay. We all went through that. I went through that. Me learning supply and demand, I had to learn literally everything about it. So listen, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for this chapter. Like, we're going to talk about supply and demand. We're going to start at a basic level, but you already know I like to take things to the chart and just make it even more visual than what it already is, right? Because we do have some visuals here. What is supply and demand and why it matters? Before I even get started, hold on. Before I even get started, you will see videos online about supply and demand. Not a single one of those videos teaches you supply and demand in a way that it validates the zone. So the way that I'm teaching supply and demand, it's in a way where we get so specific that it either is a supply zone, demand zone, or it's not. So you could go on YouTube, you could listen to a bunch of different people, but listen, this is the sauce. This is the secret sauce. We're going to talk about it. We're going to go into the specifics. And why is it the secret sauce? Like, how come I know it and other people on YouTube, they don't know it? Like this. There's actually one other person besides me or my mentor that really teaches it. But that's it. Everybody else, they don't know about it. So here we go. Look. What is supply and demand? Supply equals sellers entering the market. Sellers obviously selling, pushing the market down, creating supply. Demand is when the buyers are stepping in to buy. So you see the market going up and up and up and up. Okay, that's supply, that's demand in theory. Sellers versus buyers, still at a basic knowledge. But look, price moves based on who is in control, buyers or sellers, right? So look at this. The sharp moves up and down usually come from imbalances in supply and demand. There is an imbalance. I need you to think about that term. Imbalance. Somebody is actually winning, the other one is not. So there is an imbalance in power. There is an imbalance of control. There is an imbalance there, because you got to understand the market doesn't always stay going in one direction the whole time. It doesn't. You know that you'll go up, you'll pull back. There are pullbacks. Sometimes the sellers take control, so the market goes down. It starts downtrending, but at some point, buyers take control again. At some point, that whole move will stop. You'll start ranging. You'll start consolidating. So there is going to be an imbalance of power in supply and demand. So these zones, the supply and demand zones, become key levels. Remember, key levels is where you see a reversal, where something happens, where there is interest. So they become key levels where price may react. That's the thing. They may react again in the future. Now, I want you to know and think about this. Just because you're learning supply and demand, or any other strategy for that matter, it doesn't mean you will win all the time. In trading, we are trying to develop an edge. That's what we are developing, an edge. We want a favorable outcome over 100 trades. Like, I'm going to tell you that now because you're getting started in this journey. So you need to understand that the outcome of a single trade is random. Even when you have an edge, even when you have something that works in the market, the outcome of that single trade is random. Now, of course, we have risk management to protect ourselves when the trades don't go in our favors. I got to tell you that because supply and demand is not a holy grail. Supply and demand is just us being able to spot what's happening in the market, who's in control, and when can we get in? That's what we're doing. That's it. We can win, we can lose, but this strategy gives us an edge because we are exploiting something that happens in the market over and over and over again. Listen, since I started trading supply and demand, I see supply and demand setups literally almost every day. I'm not going to say every day because there might be days where the setups may not be the best, but we see setups, we could say almost every day. Let's say that, almost every day, and not just once. You might see two setups going on at the same time, obviously looking at different instruments, maybe different markets, but supply and demand happens often. Supply and demand is great for scalping just because it happens that often, and you could exploit short moves. So that doesn't mean you won't make money. Those short moves with the right amount of contracts, you're making money. So that's what this is about. This is about supply and demand. And well, he says, I'll see you in the next lecture. So actually in the next lecture, I'll get into actually drawing this, how we find this supply and demand zones on the chart. That's what we're going to get into in this video here, in this lecture. I just wanted to introduce the concept. So let's get to the next lecture right now.